Recently, I've been really bored with my life, so a solution I always go to when that's the case is that I go to a little website called youtube.com. And well, even when there's millions and millions of videos uploaded on the site on the daily, maybe even just hours, I can't help to go back on some videos that really have made me laugh in the past. Enter the Game Grumps episode, Mickey's Mousecapade. If you haven't already watched this video, well, all you really need to know about it is that Aaron, aka Eagle Raptor, was making a funny impression of people who copied the format of another famous YouTuber called Cinemassacre, who created the angry video game nerd persona.
Okay, so this is Mickey Mousecapade. Right before we started, Aaron and I were watching a walkthrough where one of those guys was doing like one of those fake ass like angry video game nerd voices, and now Aaron can't stop doing it, and it's cracking my shit up.
What is this bullshit? 2 cats? Why not 3? Jeez, what were they thinking?
You see, at a certain point in time, the angry video game nerd was a pretty big deal on YouTube, so naturally, you would get people who straight up copy his format of being a pretty angry nerd, and this still happens to this day on the YouTube space. And trust me, at the time, there was a lot of people who were trying to just straight up get into popularity that Cinemassacre created with his show. But of course, today's topic is upon only one of these phonies. Alright, back to the grumps. Like I said, Aaron was poking fun of these people who took the format of the angry video game nerd, but the one thing I didn't know of was who he was specifically making fun of. He was taking it straight from a guy who actually had some sort of success with this format, and his name is Game Dude. You might know Game Dude by some rips that the Silver Gunner channel has made on his shit intro. And also some references of him made by the Super Mega Crew. Other than that, I don't blame you if you haven't heard of this guy before because, well, as you can see, his channel doesn't really exist anymore, other than some archives and clips of him that people have saved over time. Game Dude is a very interesting fella, and he's had some, and by some, I mean a pretty big history of being a very well-known creep, at least to his girlfriend. But before we get into that whole debacle, let's first take a look on who the Game Dude is and what his channel was really about. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but Game Dude's name is actually Alexander, and he resides in the good old land of Canada. Again, Alexander was inspired by the angry video game nerd, and he usually reviewed games just like him, such as Sonic Heroes and a lot of obscure NES games like Mickey's Mousecapade. And again, he actually had some success on the platform, unlike me. He even got interviews made on him from where he was from, which is the good old land of Canada. As you can already see, he's somewhat kind of a creep. Anyways, if you take a look at any of his videos, you can see that there's literally nothing special about his channel. But nonetheless, whatever he was doing, it was clearly working out for him. Other than there's not much to say about the guy. I mean, he was doing what we all do on the website, and he rarely showed much of his personal life. Maybe that's why nobody really remembers him other than the Game Grumps videos and the Silver Gunner rips. Well, that is until he got what any gamer dreams of having, and that is a girlfriend. You see, Alexander wasn't really much of a ladies' man. I mean, when you're making videos ripping off the angry video game nerd style, I don't doubt you lack some puss. Well, that is until he met his ex-girlfriend, Alana, who he fell madly in love with. He fell so in love, in fact, that he would not upload as frequently anymore. That is, until the year 2012 struck, where the two separated because of, well, some arguments being had in the relationship. These things are obviously expected to happen in a relationship. Sometimes things just don't work out. Apparently there were also talks about how they were in an open relationship as well, but this isn't really 100% known. But either way, they broke it off. But Mr. Alexander here was not gonna take any of that because he felt in his heart that Alana and him were destined to be together despite all the arguments and issues they had in the relationship. This caused Alexander to go full stock mode, which is kind of funny because he did say this in the interview they made of him, completely making this whole thing pretty ironic.
Well, I want one that's nice, but then again, most of the nice ones are kind of, fat, unfortunately. I'm also looking for, one that looks hot. Then again, a lot of the hot ones are bitches.
There's obviously more to this than just stalking, because Alexander not only stalks this poor girl, which is enough to already creep the hell out of someone, but he also sends her tons of love letters to her address, of course. At this point, you can't imagine what's going on with poor Lana's head. I mean, she's not only getting stalked by her ex-boyfriend, but she's also getting lots of love letters sent to her on her home address. He would even upload videos of himself lip-syncing some love songs just to try and win her heart back. This would drive literally even me insane, and I'm making this video and I'm pretty fucking weird. So you can't blame her when the poor girl and her mother end up contacting the police, and both filing multiple police reports on Alexander. So as you can see, all this went from a normal breakup to a fucking disaster because of Alexander's actions. Before we move on to what happens next, I do have to mention that what I'm telling you right now was posted by Alexander in the past. Well, at least most of the information. But after a while of these things being public, messages were being sent to people posting this information, and they were under the name Crown Prosecution Service, or at least someone who works from that service. The problem with this is that they threaten legal action if they didn't take down that content, such as police reports made to Alexander and phone calls made to the police. So a lot of this content now, like what I just listed, can't be shown. But trust me, people still have their grubby little hands on this content online. Moving on from legal stuff, after all that happened, you might be wondering, well, what about his channel? Was he still uploading Game Dude videos? Well, the answer to that is no, he wasn't uploading Game Dude videos. But he was uploading some weird animal videos where he would record wild animals with no commentary whatsoever.
Hey, want some chocolate?
And he even made a video of himself playing with toy dinosaurs, explaining the story of his heartbreak and what happened in his relationship. Funny enough, he doesn't outright claim this in the video that it's about him, but you don't have to be a genius to figure out that this is about his messed up relationship with his ex. It really is hard to make jokes about this, guys. I mean, the joke in itself is just the lack of mental stability this man really had. Oh, I also forgot to mention, he would record police officers and just mess with them, because he himself convinced himself that every police officer was fucking with him. So hey, he might as well just do it right back at them, right?
You little fucking son of a bitch. Right now. Come here. You little fuck nugget. Come on. Stop it. Stop the fucking car, you little fuck. Come on, stop the car. The fuck. Come on, you little fuck nugget.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a real person who still lives on this giant round rock. So after some time has passed and even allegations of domestic abuse being thrown around in the mix in this already fucked up situation, this whole debacle is ready to go to court. But what does Alexander do? He's obviously done with the situation and does not even want to show up to court. That he decides to leave his home country of Canada and decides to run to fucking Mexico to just avoid the problem. Yes, the Game Dude has now decided to escape to Mexico. But of course, while he's on the run from the fucking law, may I add that he still decides to go on forums and talk about his situation, even going as far as to accuse his ex for deceptively raping him, and even going as far as to explain why he wasn't stalking her by using Pac-Man as an example. I know this is probably straying away from the whole ex-girlfriend thing that Alexander had going on, but I think it is very important to mention that Alexander hated his parents. Why did he hate his parents, you might ask? This is because they made the decision to circumcise him when he was born. Yes, that's why he hated his parents. So Alexander of course talks about his horrible injustice made to him on forums where his old fans found out what he's been up to, and that is talking about his dick on forums. Obviously, Alexander deletes these forums later on because he was embarrassed, but they're still out there, trust me, people saved them. Alexander to this day is still on the run from this legal case, believe it or not. Many years later, there's still no signs of him coming back to YouTube, or anything for that matter. And yes, if you were wondering, the angry video game nerd himself does know about Alexander. And well, watch this clip on his thoughts about him.
So a lot of people have been, wondering
What does the angry video game nerd think of my Game Dude show? He likes my show? If you don't believe me, ask him yourself, but only if you have to.
Quickly. First question, have you ever heard of Alexander 4488 and what do you think about it? What's it called? Alexander 4488. No.
The story of Alexander is a very weird one. It's not specifically a sad one because he did do this to himself, but it is a very interesting one to say the least. This guy was really blowing up on this site just by ripping off of somebody's success, and he ended up throwing all that away by ruining his own life, by not leaving his ex alone and making ridiculous decisions like stalking her. Maybe that's why his legacy on the internet is just a huge meme in itself now, because who can take someone who started his career off by copying someone seriously to begin with? I do hope though that this story ends up being known. Not for pity, but just because it really is a fucking hilarious tale about the game dude who is very rude.
So that's Game Dude. He's a crazy motherfucker who needs to leave women alone. What do you mean? I'm not like Game Dude. I'm not like fucking Game Dude.
Huge thanks to my friend Lemon for editing this video. Obviously his links will always be in the description below, and hey, it's also on the end card over here. Also, if you haven't already, just hit the subscribe button, maybe leave a like, I don't know, I'll see you guys later though.